Hello everyone, my name is Adamaris Cruz Santiago, and today my presentation will be about the educational system and what it has to do in regards to funding. I have prepared a couple of slides for you to look at, however, we'll look at them once we reach to each topic. Another aspect in which the educational system has showcased its uneven mismanagement with funding is through educational standards. There are many differences between public and private institutions today. However, one that stands out is educational standards. Funding plays a vital role in how and which educational standards will be implemented. But first, let's take a look on how private and public schools are funded today. This image right here was published by the PPIC, which is a Public Policy Institute of California, which shows you how public schools are funded. This image shows you that they are funded through the state, local property taxes, federal, and state. We notice that a huge portion, which is the orange portion, is by the state. So we get to know, we become aware that public schools are mostly funded through the state. When we look at private institutions, we know that they are funded through the students' tuition, endowments, donations, and lastly, grants. So we get to see how the government plays a role in different funding for both institutions. Now, due to public schools being funded the way they are forced to follow the regulations placed by the politicians who hold these positions in the government. The educational standards used in California today is Common Core. Common Core are educational standards that were created by governors, commissioners, educators, and lastly, teachers of 48 states. And its goal being, according to the Common Core website, to set a clear college and career-ready standards for kindergarten through 12th grade in English, language, arts, literacy, and mathematics. It is designed to ensure that students graduating from high school are prepared to take credit-bearing introductory courses in 2 or 4-year college programs or to enter the workforce. For private schools, it's a little bit more differently. Why, you may ask? It's because private schools do not receive tax revenues. That means that they do not have to follow the same sort of regulations and rules and processes usually placed on public institutions. This allows for private schools to implement and create highly specialized advanced curriculum and lastly, different learning. There are many critics who complain about Common Core because it is designed to teach the test, meaning that if students who are high achievers may not test really high, that means that low standardized tests affects their college courses for next year and their college placement. And this also really affects the teachers and educators. How? If students are performing really well in the classroom and class as a grade, however, when it comes to testing, they test really low, and that gets to show a little bit of contradictory to the teacher. That means that this might affect their seniority and teacher placement. The gap between private and public schools is getting a little bit tighter today. However, the stigma's still there that private schools are better. And this also is seen by test scores. Let's get to see the test scores between public and private schools, which ultimately can affect college acceptances. So this was published by the NEPE, which is a National Assessment of Education Progress, and this was a test between 4th and 8th graders between public and private schools. So this assessment was done in the subjects of reading and math. For public schools, there was an average score of 216, while in private schools, there was an average score of 235. For the mathematics, in public schools received an average score of 234, while in private schools, 244. So here we simply see that there is a distinction between test scores, which ultimately is backed off of curriculum. And then these test scores can greatly affect higher education. Also, funding plays a vital role in textbooks and proper materials for class. If students are not being suited with the top textbooks or necessary textbooks and necessary materials, then they are not grasping the educational standards set by. Second, let's see the difference between a teacher and an educator who has 50 students in a public institutions versus an educator with 20 students, I'd say on a private institution. The public teacher will have less time to go around and give each student the specific attention they need because of the time and so many students in one setting. When it comes to the private teacher, she will have time to fulfill each student's needs. This greatly affects the whole idea that's backed off of educational standards. So I hope you learned that it is important that educational standards are important for any institution you go to, and it is greatly affected on how much money your school and the institution you go to. Thank you and have a good day.